welcome to the Bee and Rose podcast. This is episode number 5, although it's like forever since I was last in front of the camera. I've got a different camera to what I had last time, so it's just like doing my head in a bit because it keeps telling me to do different things and I can't get the shelf straight because the camera angle isn't straight. So do you know what? If I faff on anymore, it'll never happen. So I'm just going to go with it. I can already see that the postman's on his way, so who knows how long I've got. Right, so hello. Yes, my name's Faye and I am the dyer behind Bee and Rose Yarns. And if you'd like to find me anywhere on Tinternet, I'm on Ravelry as Sylvie B, which is SYLVIEBEA, and we've got a nice Ravelry group going on, which isn't very busy yet, so get over there, give me some work to do, come on people. And we've got, or rather I've got, I'm not going to use the royal we just yet, Facebook Bee and Rose, BEA and Rose, and on Instagram I'm B_and_Rose. So yeah, come and say hello, like a few posts, do all of that kind of shenanigan stuff, and then yeah, let's crack on. So because I haven't done a podcast for ages, I feel like there should be absolutely mountains of stuff to show you. However, I've probably lost half of it. Mark will have felted the majority of it, and also I had a bit of a knitting frenzy, like a bit of a manic episode where I just did loads of knitting and I ended up with injuries, which I just find amazing that you can have sport-based injuries when all you've done is sat on your backside and gone like this, made tiny little movements with your hands. Anyway, it happened, which put me off a little bit, so I had a while of not doing it very much. I was going to say anything, but that would be a total lie. I did still knit. Everybody's like, rest, you must rest, and no, I must knit or my brain will fry. So I did do a little bit, which included trying to design a couple of scarves. That was kind of a mistake because I didn't write anything down. Did a few sock patterns though. One of them has been released on, it's on Ravelry, Bonny Lass Socks, BONNY Lass Socks. We did a knit along, we had a winner who won a project bag and a skinny on, and it was all very lovely, so we'll have to do more of those in the future. I've got another couple of patterns that I could do with uploading to Ravelry. However, because it's more than half an hour since I uploaded the last one, I can't remember how to do it, and it's what? It's impossible. It's just like, it's probably so easy that you don't need really in-depth instructions, but because I'm really stupid when it comes to using the internet and the computer, it takes me a full day of just looking at the screen and dribbling to realise that I can't do it and that I need to just walk away, bang my head off the wall a few times and then find help. Yeah, so there you go. But what I have been doing, I'll show you some of my finished objects. Right, the next challenge for this is going to be actually getting the camera to focus on stuff that I'm going to put in front of the camera. Hang on, let's have a look. Yeah, wonky shelf. I'm not happy with the wonky shelf. There you go, you can have my mantelpiece in instead. Right, so one sock. And the reason I have one sock and not 2 socks is because they've been in the wash. And this was a foray into doing the toe-up socks with an afterthought heel. I think this might have been the first one that I did. Yeah, I loved it and I've not stopped since. So I used my own self-striping yarn for the leg, which is 3 stripes. This was bought in a 6-metre hank and I just kind of split it to get the 3 stripes. And I think it's quite bunny, quite effective. It's been washed quite a few times, but it looks all right. And they're so comfy. I did them on 2.25 needles, which are definitely now my needles of choice for socks because it just gives you such a lovely, firm, squishy fabric. Where even going up to a 2.5 or a 2.75, it's just not as, it's like, yeah, whatever. There's more air in it and not as much wool. Yeah. The postman and Don are outside and they're probably wondering why I've got these big flashlights in my living room pointed at my head. Hi! Never mind. So yes, I did knit a pair of socks. The other one's probably in the bottom of the wash because even with hand knit socks I still can't manage to keep them in pairs. You would think I would be better than that, wouldn't you? However, it's not better than that, and it's coop knits on the heel in like an aubergine colourway, and I love it. It's so lovely. It's felted, the heel's felted. Can you see? I don't know. You can see me bigger fingernails. The heel's felted, which I've said about 20 times, but that's fine. It's nice and comfortable, and I love the yarn. It's pretty, it's easy to knit with. Yeah, and it's great. So there you go. I did knit one pair of stripy socks from my own yarn. And, well, I dig around in my little pile over here. I've faffed on forever this morning, honestly, and I still don't feel particularly organised, which is why I'm just doing it. Just gotta do it, just in case it never happens. And these ones have been on my feet for the last 3 days. I'm gonna show you anyway. Yeah, classy. These, it's too nice not to show you. The yarn is just absolutely gorgeous. I went to Woolfest a few weeks ago, feels like forever ago, with a couple of pals, and the Easy Knits guys were there. So I picked up this skein of self-striping yarn. How fabulous is that? It's so bright. I did wonder at one point if the like bright highlightery colour stuff was luminous, but it's not. Not at night time. It doesn't glow in the dark, thank goodness. Could be a bit freaky. Yeah, so again, I did these toe up. I think I put 72 stitches on them. Toe up using Judy's Magic Cast On. And if you've never done it, get it on the boil because it's fantastic. I'm going to say I don't think I'll ever knit a cuff down sock with a gusset and a heel flap again, but that's probably a lie. Because, you know, you get sick, don't you? And you like a bit of a change every now and again. So I did an afterthought heel. I picked the yarn where I left off in terms of the colours, and it just, I think it's worked out really, really well. I'm chuffed to bits. They're so comfortable and they're really big. So I decided that next time what I would do is I would knit the foot and the leg with 68 stitches on 2.25mm needles. And then I do a middle bit there where my ankle is on I said 2.25 before, on 2.5s, just to make it a tiny little bit bigger, because I think with the afterthought heel you have to be really careful. If you've got a very high instep, you might struggle to get them on your feet, or you might find, like I do, that if you don't make the leg part big enough, say if you normally did a 68 stitch socks with a cuff and a heel flap and gusset, and you got it on your foot perfectly well, if you did that with the heel flap and you have a high instep, afterthought heel and you have a high instep, you might find that the sock is really stretched out just across, which way do I put it? Across the top of your ankle type bit there. So yeah, you've got to just make a pair, see what they're like, take it from there. Obviously you could do it technically by working out what your gauge is and the size of your yarn and all that jazz, but it's not my bag, baby. I'm not that careful. And stuff normally just kind of stretches, so it's fine, isn't it, really, at the end of the day? And if it doesn't, you're just like, oh, that's a gift to an unknit-worthy friend that I've just wasted half my life on. However, they might not shrink them, they might not put them in the wash, you know, they could treat them kindly, who knows. So those little babies, and another one in progress using self-striping again. And I wonder if you remember, if you've ever watched the podcast before. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say, if you've watched before and you've come back for more, haha, hello, it's still exciting. And if this is your first time visiting, then yeah, hello, yes. Thank you for coming. It's nice to see you. Not that I can, as I'm sitting alone in a room with a camera in front of me. However, the nearest I get to seeing you is probably on Instagram or the Ravelry group, but Instagram is just bizarre because you'll chat away with somebody for ages, you know, swap posts and all that, all those shenanigans, and then you meet them in real life and you're like, I've got no idea who you are because your Instagram name is so different to your name in real life. Yeah, I started to knit a cardigan by Eleanor Nodal, who is a Ravelry, she's on Ravelry, an independent designer, and it's finished, and I'm just going to hold it in front of my head. And it is utterly beautiful. I absolutely love it. It's got kind of a waterfall front, and I knitted this for Sylvie, who's my lanky 11-year-old. She's really tall, and it's just gorgeous. I'll have to take some photographs of her wearing it. Anyway, Eleanor Nodal had been designing for quite a long time. She's got loads of wonderful designs on Ravelry, but I read on somebody else's post that she was really poorly and she had cancer and then she died. So I think everybody needs to go to her page, download a few patterns and just keep supporting her work and her family, because it's just so terribly sad. She's got a young child and a husband, and it's just bloody awful, isn't it? Cancer sucks. It took my mother and I hate it. Right, so you can see how the increases, yarn offs, and I did all of this. I did this and one sock, not two socks, but one sock with 2 skeins of my fingering weight yarn in the colourway Juliet, and obviously it doesn't take that much yarn because it's full of air. Da, 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 da. The yarn overs in the holy back. It really blocks out lovely, and it's fab. It's lovely. It's gorgeous for the speckly yarn as well. I worried that the pattern would be lost, but nah, it's not. It's stunning. There you go. There's another look. Maybe we should do an Ellen and Odell knit along in the Ravelry group. I'll contact the person who administers our page now and I'll see what she says, because I think that would be lovely, just because the pattern is so bloody gorgeous. And she's got plenty of others. I'm sure there's more other popular ones on there as well. And did anybody do the Curious Handmade Shawl Society this year? I did, and I only managed to knit 2 shawls. I didn't want to knit the Villa wrap, I think it was, because it was straight. And I think it had pearls in and pearls. No, I just didn't want to do it anyway. But I did do the Fairy Hill shawl, which is one of my most favourite things ever, especially with the beading. It's so nice to learn how to do something new. And I did Sprite's Fen. Get ready, it's massive. Da-da-da. Let's bring it in like a... There you go. Don't know where the sound effects come from. I wouldn't do that in real life. Yeah, so this is Sprite's Fen, Curious Handmade. I think you can buy the patterns individually now that the knit along's over. The mystery kind of shawl along type thing. And this is knitted from Hedgerow Fibres. I don't know what the colourway is, but it was one of our speckly singles. Actually it was 2. We took 2 skeins of yarn. And I ran out of yarn right at the very end, so I just improvised and used some pinky scraps that I had lying around. See if I can get it to focus on this. I'm not quite sure how the camera works yet, sorry, as you will discover. And also the lights are in front of the camera. Maybe that's a mistake. Just says touch AF cancelled on my screen. Doesn't matter if it's cancelled, I don't know what it is. Yeah, so you've got just beautiful stitches. Look at that. I love it. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. If I was going to knit it again, which I might, even though at the end it had like over 500 stitches, I don't really mind that when it's beautiful. It was well worth it. And I can always remember what's been on the telly when I'm in a certain project. I think when I was doing this we were watching The Craze. Random. I think I would do it in a grad. So I would start maybe a grey colour. Actually, I think I'm just copying off Skein Deer. If you have a look at her Instagram feed and at the Curious Handmade Sprite's Fen hashtag on Ravelry, Skein Deer's shawl is the most wonderful thing. It's graduated from top to bottom and it's just beautiful. Yeah, I think I'd do one of them. Yeah, I might do another one because it is really nice. It's lovely and yeah. Good, good, good. Yes, yes, yes. And also, I'm going to say this is finished. I haven't sewn the ends in, so technically, I guess it's not quite finished. However, according to me, it's finished. And it's covered in hair. Dear me. This is the Tegner by Boylan Knitworks. Can you see Tegner? Don't know if I'm displaying it very well. The yarn looks a bit kind of... It doesn't look like that in real life. It doesn't, honestly. See if I can get a close-up shot. This is a darker version of Monet's Daydream, which is one of my own yarns. It's really popular. I dyed this purpley, darker purple colour, because I was going to do Woollenberry's floral shawl, and I started doing it and put pictures on Instagram, and then I thought, ugh, kind of too many pearls. I was having a lot of pain in my shoulders. We'd done a lot of car driving over the summer holidays, and I did loads and loads of kind of ninja knitting, in a very uncomfortable position, which was stupid, and again ended up with a kind of sports injury without doing much moving. Brucey bonus. So I decided to do a sweater instead because it's knitted in the round, and it was, the construction of this is something I hadn't done before, but I did really enjoy it. However, I'm messy when it comes to picking up stitches and stuff, so I think I need more practice. Part of it includes a 3-needle bind off, and I love that because you just get such a lovely kind of, such a lovely neat, can you see it? Such a lovely neat seam, as opposed to when you sew it and it just looks horrendous. So yeah, I'm well chuffed with that, like. But at one point, instead of using my yarn that I was knitting the sweater with, I picked up a random bit of easy knits because I just finished doing my socks. So there's like a stripe over here of some not my purple that fades into a luminous green. So instead of frogging it, I showed it to Sylvie and she was like, yeah, I love it, leave it like that, Mum. So I am. And the lace border is just lovely, and I've seen a lot of them on Instagram and what have you that have been done in pale or neutral colours, and it's just, it's gorgeous. Just do it. Short sleeves, you can make the sleeves longer. Why knit sleeves when you don't need to? Wear a long t-shirt underneath it. So Sylvie, it'll still be a little bit cropped on Sylvie, but not too cropped, but you can wear it with a top underneath, and I think it'll look smashing. And it would appear that cropped ganzies are all the fashion right now. We live near like an out of town shopping area type thing, and I took her around there. Now that she's 11, you know, she's virtually an adult according to her. So we took her around there to have a look at all of the clothes shops, and I just walked in and I was just horrified. It was bloody awful. It was like walking back into the early 1990s, but not in a good way, because you just had like really short cropped tops, kind of shin length floral skirts that just no, and bizarre slogans on. Anyway, I wasn't impressed, but it did give me hope that if I wanted to knit crop sweaters, which are obviously better because they don't take as long, and then Sylvie will be up for wearing because she can see that they're popular. And so long as my knitting's nice and neat and tidy, it should be alright, shouldn't it? Alright. And then something else that I've been doing, which, you know, hang on, I think I need to have my title, which is normally Felted Object of the Week. Okay, so the lovely Emily from the Salt City Knits Instagram page and web and podcast. Oh, there's a postman. Let's see. Hope he doesn't knock. Or the dog will just lose her mind. Uh-oh, here we go. The dog's going to start. I think I can operate the camera from my phone, but it's not going to. And I've got no idea where the button is on the back. It's tiny. My dad's camera was massive, and it did all the zooming in things really well, and it had a really good microphone, and I think this camera is going to be really good, but I don't know what the sound quality is like, so I'm quite looking forward to listening to it again. And it's got a timer on the top. It's telling me I've been talking for 18 minutes and 34 seconds, and I must be just rambling really quickly. Anyway, I did buy me some Stranded Dye Works cashmere merino nylon in the wallflower colourway, which is just lovely, and I decided to keep it for something special, something for me, for my selfish knitting projects. And then I saw that Emily, Salt City Knits, was doing a knit along, asking for test knits for a shawl called Sweet Summer Nights, which is utterly gorgeous. You must go and have a look, it's really beautiful. So I thought, right, I'll do that with my cashmere. So I did. And every episode I like to show you things that Mark has felted or washed and wrecked. This was gorgeous. Now, it's not. Honestly, he got really badly told off for this, mine. You can nearly see the pattern. Let's have a look, see if you can. I'll just click on the screen there, look at. You can nearly see the pattern. I mean, how lovely is that? It's just beautiful, isn't it? So she's got this lovely panel at the top that you can barely see because it's wrecked. And then I love the way she's made it so that the kind of the lines in the patterns match up from top to bottom. It's not just random. And the yarn's lovely. It's kind of shades of greens, greys, pinks and yellows. And it's really pretty. And it could have been gorgeous. However, I guess I could still wear it in some strange manner. Oh, he's just a nightmare. Honestly, he is. He's just a nightmare. Never mind. What can I do? Let's just see how it goes, and I'll give him another couple of weeks before he does it again. I'll have to start inventing new punishments, felting punishments. I just shouted. I done a lot last time. I didn't throw anything, although I think you'll know that would have been justified if I had done. And then I wanted to show you this as well, which is a pattern on Ravelry. I think it's called Bella Botanica, and it's a free pattern, and it's lace. On Tinternet, it's done in lace with yarn. But I thought, no, not in the Gibson household. And I spun, this is one of my first big spinning projects. I've just got to hold it up, hang on. You see the pretties in it, hang on. And I made 20, 100,000 zillion, billion, million Rolags on my, with lovely fibre from, well, Wingham Woolworks, on my blending board, which was kind of fun for the first 2 hours, and then after that I just wanted to die. And then I knitted it in this pattern. This is probably an Aran weight yarn, which is quite heavy, and it's got Angelina and shiny bits in it and just loads of beautiful colours, and it's perfect for autumn. It's like a light blue and a red and a maroon and then gold. And then I just knitted the lace pattern in this heavy yarn on big needles. And it needs a reblock. It's lost its shape, but he hasn't washed it yet. Kind of missed this one putting it in the washing machine. I suppose it is pretty big. There you go, look at that. So I think it's worth, I don't know if you can see the pattern on it, but I think it's worth, if you see a pattern that you love, even if it's in lace weight, and you don't want to knit, oh, you can see it up here a bit better. If you don't want to knit it in lace weight, just use what you've got and adjust the needle size. Gauge doesn't matter when it comes to doing things like this. You can really just crack on, can't you? And do whatever you like. It's gorgeous, it's massive. I'm going to put it on and die of heat stroke. But what I find with these big shawls, it's lovely. With being a large, bountiful lady, my shape isn't flat at the back and then boobage at the front like that. My shape is, there's my little head, and then I'm kind of like that, like a dome. So even with the pie shawls, when they're massive, what I find is that they sit uncomfortably across the back of my shoulders because I'm not straight up and down, and lots of people aren't. So shawls that are chunky like this, or that are really, really big, and to get it, you know, to go any bigger on the pie shawl would have been like 1,000 and odd stitches. No, not happening. Crikey, can you imagine what you could do in the time it would take it in one row? Change the world. Yeah, basically. So canny. It's a lace knit pattern, Aran weight yarn, hand spun, and it's lovely. It's really warm, needs reblocking. It's been in the back of the car for ages. I dug it out, made sure there are no spiders in it. Jobs are good and hide it on. Get in. And I'm getting a bit self-conscious because I feel like I might just be kind of rambling. So I had to go doing some designs. I don't know why, because there are like millions of designs on Ravelry. Everything's out there. Why? Why do something else? Why? Why? But I think I just wanted to show off my yarn because I was doing a little what you call it, a trunk show at the wool shop in Newcastle, and I thought it would be nice to have something, and I think there's nothing better for hand dyed yarn than a mix of chevrons and going in 2 colours. So I did this, and it got lots of attention when I went to the trunk show at the knit studio, and I was really disappointed that I couldn't tell anybody how to knit it because I hadn't written anything down. Silly me. Anyway, it's basically just a pie shawl, big pie shape, which is perfect for somebody like me who can barely count, because if you're doing a pie shawl, you don't have to worry about all of the increases in your pattern because you have like wedges, whoop, that have got the same amount of stitches in for a certain amount of rows. So it's calculated on how many rows you can do with a certain amount of stitches to make it look like that, as opposed to it looking like that. Canny. So that's what I did. Used the formula, got the chevrons to fit, and I love this bit here. I love the stitches in the middle of the chevrons. Central double decrease, I think it's called. It's like a knit one, slip, blah blah, pass it over. Yeah, just like that, just like that. Anyway, I love it, I love it, I love it. So I think I might eventually figure out what I did and write it down on a sheet of paper. So that was quite exciting. And also, oh yeah, so I did the trunk show. I went to the knit studio in Newcastle, which was lovely. I just took along a load of yarn and some project bags, met loads of fabulous people, and it was really, really good, such good fun. There were people there from America who bought yarn to make. I took the Allen & Odell cardigan with me. Just going to make one of those, so I'll have to, I didn't catch her name or any Instagram tag or anything like that, so I'll just have to browse the pages of the internet and try and find out where she's at. So that was quite exciting. And we went to Woolfest as visitors. I've already said that, where I bought quite a bit of stuff, including some linen, which is interesting. I'm making a girlfriend, no, is that right? Grocery bag. It's Lithuanian linen. Lithuanian linen. It's like straw, thin straw, with a bit of wire in. But I know that linen will soften, it'll soften up. And I've got the grey with this really bright yellow, neon yellow, to make the, I can't remember what it's called, the girlfriend bag, I think it's called. I'll double check and I'll put it in the notes. So you've got like a knitted base. There's so much dust coming off this, I haven't done any of it for ages. And then just loads of holes. And even though it's a simple pattern, I'm terrible at getting yarn overs in the right place, so there's still loads of mistakes. But will I worry? I will not. Not if it's just to put my taties in, I'm not going to worry about it. And the linen wasn't very expensive. This is light fingering. 100% linen, heavy lace, 450 metres. Which, yeah, it is quite heavy, isn't it? If you think the skeins of merino and nylon normally have about 425 metres. Right, so what's on my needles? I've kind of jumped ahead a bit there, haven't I? So that bag, obviously, and also this. Now I bought this yarn. It's not one of mine, I bought it. I did, I splashed out, I was a good girl. At Yarndale last Saturday, and Yarndale was just utterly immense. It was really good and really exciting, but it was just so busy. And when I look back through Instagram at other people's photographs, I think, oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. What was going on? And I think it's just because it was so busy. You couldn't really get in to see that much of what was happening. Anyway, I managed to see these guys, River Knits. I've got some more in my basket to show you on the acquisitions part. But this is called Big Red Squirrel. I think I'll have to double check. Look at that, isn't it lovely? It's so pretty. I just fell in love with it. I started knitting this at Knitting Group on Tuesday night and I just couldn't stop. It's gorgeous. So this is one of their mini skeins and I've done it toe up, Judy's Magic Cast On as usual, using 2.25mm needles, which I used until about this point. Then I've moved to 2.5s for a little bit, but it started to flash and pool a bit more than I wanted it to, so I went straight back down to 2.25s, and I much prefer the feel of the cloth that you make with 2.25s anyway. It's just, it feels lovely when you've got your shoes on. That's just the way it is, isn't it? It's amazing the difference one tiny few millimeters can make in the needle size to your fabric. It's amazing. What was I waffling on about? Yeah, anyway, here's the wool. I wish I'd taken a photograph of it or shown you it before I balled it up, caked it up, but it's still beautiful. Look at that. And you see all the lovely rich colours in it. It's like a cake of autumn, basically. Oh no, I'll just move the camera, that was a mistake. Can you see how lovely it is? It's really rich. I think you can see it. It knits up. Yeah. I did get a surprise when I started to knit it because it does look different knitted to what it does in the cake, funnily enough. But it's very lovely. So hopefully I'll have these finished before long because I can't wait to wear them. These are purely for me, selfish knitting, no gifting here. Not with this one. Yeah, lovely. And also on my needles, because I can't just have one project obviously, is the Boyland Knitworks sweater. Yeah, doing a bit of colour work. I'm using my yarn for this. Can't really see much, I've just started it, but it is a jumper, honestly. So I've got the started doing a bit of the colour work around the top, and I'm going to have to play serious yarn chicken with this. This is the same yarn as I use for the Tegna. It's Monday's Daydream, but it's a bit darker than I would usually do it because, like I say, it did it for me. And I'm using it with some Crocus Pocus, which is mine. It's like yellow with speckles of purple. And I'm also going to use some Strictly Ballroom, which I think is going to look super. And for the body, I am using these beauties. This is a colourway based on Degas painting, which is simply called For Ballerinas. And it's kind of a dusky, it's pick up pinks and blues and bits of yellow and grey. And I'm in love with this colour, so I can't wait to get this caked and to knit with it. And I've bought myself a new cake winder. I can't remember what brand it is, but I had a look on one of the Facebook groups and everybody was getting excited, so I thought, right, yeah, come on, bring it on. I just recently bought the Knit Pro one, and it's rubbish. I hate it. It just gives me so much. It's rubbish. It really is useless. That's probably the way that I use it though, so you might disagree with me, I don't know, but I just want something that's a bit easier to handle because I've sewed loads of advent calendars, which means I have to cake up a lot of yarn, and I don't want it to be a nightmare. Right, so that's all I've got on my needles at the minute that I can think of to show you. There's probably like miles of projects behind me, in fact I know that there are, but that's it for now. So what I want to talk about next are my new things that I have got that I am in love with. So if you don't want to see any stash enhancement, turn away now. Some of it's in a bit of a crinkly packet. Like I say, we went to Yarndale on Saturday and it was fantastic. There were loads of people there that I knew and just kept banging into them and saying hello and having a bit of chat on the way around whilst getting knocked over by people's bags and prodded by elbows, etc. It was manic. It was too much for me, so I was finished by 12:30 and I was absolutely knackered. However, it was worth it. It was lovely just to see all of this stuff in one place and to see so many friendly people, and it was just good fun. I went to Hand Dyed by Kate's store and I did purchase 11 20-gram mini skeins that she's dyed. Right there, hope you can see that. I love it. I think she's kind of dyed it over a grey base, so you've got the same tone all the way through and just the different colours on top, and I think that will work really, really nicely. I'll probably make that into a jumper for Sylvie, and I'll graduate the colours all of the way up so it doesn't come out in blocks, and I think that looks super. And the River Knits stall was my absolute favourite, and their yarn colours were just very complex, and I could see that time had been taken to dye them, and it wasn't a case of dipping in one end and putting some speckles on. You could tell that they'd gone back to the pot a few times and just put lots of attention into the yarn. And this is a colourway called Mermaid. And these guys live on a boathouse, which I think is pretty amazing. How do you dye yarn on a boathouse? I struggle in my kitchen. It's just, what? It's fabulous. And what else have I got? So that was it. I got this one, the Red Squirrel one, and the minis from Yarndale, and I didn't buy anything else. I was inspired by some of it, but I didn't buy it because I knew that I wanted some soft blockers, some metal ones, and some other bits and pieces that I would have to get when I wasn't there, basically. And as soon as we'd finished at Yarndale, although we were all just knackered and kind of hating each other, we went down to Bradford to a harp thing at a harp shop, which was quite exciting. Yeah. So a few weeks ago we went to Edinburgh to see a band called the Rachel Hare Trio. Rachel Hare plays the lever harp like the girls and me do, and she plays with a double bass player and a guitar player and a singer, and it was fantastic. And one of the best things about going to Edinburgh is Be Inspired Fibres, which is a shop in Marchmont which is really posh and sells loads of fantastic high-end yarn, and it's possibly my favourite place in the world. So from there I bought some Hedgehog Fibre Skinny Singles in the Fool's Gold colourway, which is just gorgeous. And I know that's popular, so you've probably seen it like a million times, but I have no idea what I'm going to do with that. And then I got this Cosmic Strings, which is lovely. Again, it's just, you can see that the dye's just been put on really carefully. And the speckles are gorgeous. I love it. No idea what I'll knit with that. Maybe some socks. And then I got this from Yushitita. Oh, it's a bit messy now. I'll be fiddling with it. It's called Little Dances, and it's just got light little speckles in it, and it's like a pearly off-white kind of grey colour with a light wash of purplish colours, and then just beautiful speckles, and it's really delicate and really, really pretty, and I'm looking forward to knitting with that. I think it's going to be lovely. And that's it really. That is my stash. I haven't really got that much stuff. I tend not to buy yarn because I'm really picky now that I can dye on my own. I won't buy anything unless I absolutely love it, or unless I just think, no, I could never do that. I think that's what drives me to the minis, because I will forget to put bags of minis in my order when I'm buying undyed yarn, and skein minis is just, yeah, it's great. Anyway, that's it in terms of that. But one more thing that I want to waffle on about is this. And I think this is really exciting. My Brown, who is a designer, came round a few weeks ago and we discussed doing a collaboration. I said, can she design some socks and I'll do some yarn, something to do with autumn? And she was like, yeah, get in. And look at what she came up with. These things are gorgeous. Wait, I'll straighten it up on my sock blockers. Right, so she has produced the most beautiful socks ever. It's got kind of a travelling wheat pattern. It's toe up with a gusset and a heel flap, but I'm pretty sure you could do it with an afterthought heel if you wanted to. It's kind of travelling wheat pattern, and then this beautiful stitch here, which is called a grass stitch, that she's put together with it. I'll put it on my arm so you can see it. Oh, it's fabulous. And the pattern is just so well written. She takes real care and attention when she's writing her patterns. She gets them, lots of test knitters on board, and she has them all tech edited. There you go, look, can you see like the wheat pattern travelling up the sock? Probably better if I had it that way, but I don't bend like that. And then this is just lovely. A sock just with that, I think would be as nice as anything. It's beautiful. So the pattern has been designed really specifically for tonal or speckled yarn. So I've dyed up some colourways. You can maybe see them behind me on the shelf, and I'm going to put lots of pictures of them on Instagram over the next few days, because when this sock is released on Ravelry, which will be sometime next week, if you buy the pattern from Vicky Bird's Ravelry store, Vicky, why do I always want to call you Vicky Brown? What was called? I think I grew up with somebody called Vicky Brown, that's why. Anyway, if you buy the pattern from Vicky Bird's Ravelry store, you'll be given a discount for 15% off my yarn. And whoops, whoo! And I will have a selection that's been specifically dyed for this pattern, all the autumnal colours, because it's very autumnally themed, with the wheat sheaves up the front and with this beautiful stitch at the back. Vicky took these to a knitting group with her, and the feedback was that they thought that the lemon was maybe a bit too light and more kind of popcorny than wheaty or than autumnal. So the yarn that I've dyed the speckly yarn that I've dyed is a little bit darker and it's got more definition, and it's lovely and it looks stunning in these socks. So I'll keep you up to date with what's going on with those. But yes, if you buy the pattern from Vicky, which will be £3.50, you get 15% off my yarn. So basically, if you buy the pattern and my yarn together, it's as if you're getting the pattern for free. And that'll be on my website and on Etsy, but I'll tell you more about it on Instagram when I'm ready, and also in the Ravelry group. And we'll be doing a knit along, and I'll offer up some yarn as a prize for the knit along, because they just need to be knit. Everybody needs to do them, but you'll have plenty of time. Again, I'll give you more details when we've figured it all out and got the date set for the pattern release, so you won't miss anything. And do you know what? Oh, and I was thinking of doing little kits as well with these bags, but it depends how much time I've got. And this one has a leather handle. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm jumping around a bit here, I'm sorry, but when I went to Edinburgh, I bought some pattern books from Be Inspired Fibre. She's got loads of amazing books. Our shelves are fabulous. I've got Interpretations Volume 3, which I think is really nice, and I'm looking forward to having a good look through there. And I also got Lane magazine, which is just beautiful. It's really, really lovely. The patterns in it are lovely, the photography's gorgeous, and it's got little tidbits of stories in it, so there's something to read, not just something to look at. Yeah, and I think that is that, to be honest. So I'm gonna probably sit for about 7 days trying to get this off my phone onto the computer. And then when I do, it's there for you. So enjoy. If you stuck through till the end, thank you. You've done very, very well, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.